loans, interest begins accruing the minute you take the loan out, and then you pay on it once you get done with school. You have 6 months from the time you either stop going to school or complete your degree program before you have to start making payments. But it really is helpful to not have to pay interest on that. However, you don't get to pick, it's based on your FAFSA. Again, which program they put you in for the subsidized or unsubsidized loans. Federal work study, it really depends on the funds available at the school, so they award that money to the school, and then the school will let you know if you can work on campus. So work study is a job that you have on campus. It is a maximum of 20 hours a week, and they're required by law to work around your school schedule. There are some schools though that, like Northwest, they don't use the federal work study program. They provide the work study positions through the college. So you don't have to have a lower income to qualify for a work study position. And there's work study comes in a lot of different jobs. So you could work in the cafeteria or at the snack bar. You can apply to work as grounds crew. You can apply to work in the library. You get paid to do your homework if it's slow. And then I did a work study for journalism, and so I wrote press releases for the college about events that were going on, and it was published in the paper. So it gave me work experience. So, you know, you can choose from a wide range of positions. And then the Direct Plus loan is a parent loan. So as a parent, you can take out a loan for your student. However, not only does the interest begin the minute you take that loan out, the payments also begin as soon as you take that loan out. So I would look into some different options if you're looking at that route, because the interest rate is also higher on the Parent Plus loan. For more information about these different things, you can go to studentmaid.gov and they will give you more information. So, to continue that, in the past we've used the FAFSA forecaster. So typically when I have this presentation, I tell you to use the FAFSA forecaster. You can go on the website and kind of enter your basic information, and that will give you an idea of how much you can expect to get. At this point, you are a week away from the FAFSA opening, so at this point you might as well just fill the FAFSA out. But if you do want to get an estimate, you can go to the FAFSAforecaster.ed.gov, and it's for the number 4. So how much state, school, and private scholarship money can I get? So it depends on your program, and it depends on how motivated you are. So as a student, you can really, the sky's the limit as far as scholarships, but you need to sit down and take the time to fill them out. I know that it's a overwhelming year for the students, so I recommend setting a schedule, whatever works best for you and your family. Set aside an hour or 2 on a Sunday evening or a Wednesday night or whatever works best for you guys, and use that time to talk about college and to talk about and to work on scholarship applications. And I would just do that every week. It can also take some of the pressure off your student if you have a scheduled time to discuss, because it can be really easy to harp on your students. So where are you at with those scholarships? Every night over dinner. And that can get overwhelming, especially if your student is looking at more competitive schools. For Wyoming, we have the halfway scholarship, so make sure you're staying on top of your grades and that you're retaking ACTs if your scores don't align with the halfway level you're hoping for. And then we also have the WIN scholarship in Wyoming, which is Wyoming Investment in Nursing Scholarship. It's actually not a scholarship, but a loan program. So what it does is it allows you to take out a student loan. You will be offered that scholarship one time, your very first semester, and then that will carry over. So if you decline that, you won't be offered it again. So if you're looking any nursing make sure that you accept that, and then you can choose whether or not you need or want to take out those student loans. But what that program does is it allows you to take out that student loan for your nursing school, and then once you complete the nursing program, if you work in Wyoming for a certain amount of years, then they will completely dissolve that student loan, and then you won't have to pay that money back. Talk to the financial aid office or check on the website and find out when the scholarship portal opens for your school. Some schools, their portal doesn't even open until later in the school year. So like Northwest opens in the middle of October, and then it stays open until scholarship day in February. So, well, a week before scholarship day, so they can sort through everything. If you're looking at Northwest, Northwest does have the Tracker Scholarship, which is more of a first come, first served scholarship. So those monies are available to anybody, regardless of your income level, but it is based on your grades and your ACT. But once that money runs out, they no longer have that scholarship to offer. So if the school you're looking at has that, it's important to make sure that you get the scholarship application done instead of procrastinating. And then there are websites that you can visit. There's listed on your PowerPoint some national scholarships. They are more competitive. Some of them are kind of fun. You have to send a tweet, and the most creative tweet each week is $20,000. So, there's things like that. There's scholarships for tall people. There are scholarships for people who like Star Trek. So really, if there's something unique about you or that you're interested in, check and see if there's a scholarship out there. Make sure if you're asking someone to write a recommendation for a scholarship, that you give them enough time to really think about you in general, not Jane was a good student in my history class. You really want it to be personal, and ask them if they want to sit down and talk to you for a little while about those things that are unique about you, so they can include that in your letters of recommendation. Check with your churches, clubs, there's an ATV club over in Howell, and they have a scholarship. Usually the utility company that you go through has a scholarship. A lot of those scholarships usually can come later in the year. The local scholarships, about January, February, you start to see some of those. And then they will, Mr. Dewar will have that information. He will let your students know about scholarships that are local. But keep an eye on that and keep an eye on the deadlines. So, how do you apply for aid? So if you're looking at federal aid, you're going to fill out the FAFSA. Remember, that is the free application for federal student aid. So please, please, please don't pay for it. Make sure you're on the website, fafsa.gov, because other websites, you'll think you're on the right website, they'll let you fill out that application, and after you spend over an hour filling out that application and pulling your hair out, they're going to say, $75, please. And a lot of times you're going to say, that was so hard, I don't want to do it again. Here's my $75. Senior year is expensive enough. Don't pay them for something that's free. And I will be here 2 times. I don't have the dates written down on the top of my head, but I will be here twice in the month of October to help with the FAFSA. If you want to come in, I am bound by FERPA. It's kind of like HIPAA, but basically it means I can't talk about your students, your income levels, nothing like that. I don't shout across the room, hey, I see you make $20,000 a year. I'm very discreet. It's, very professional process, and trust me, I have to work with over 400 students a year, so I will never remember your income, ever. And then state aid. Each college has their own halfway scholarship. Make sure that you check the box on the application. Some of them are tied into their application, and some of them you have to go specifically to that pathway. So if you're thinking about going in-state for a couple of years, still activate that pathway of whatever school you might be considering. Just fill out the application, so that pathway scholarship is there for you if you decide you need it. There are students that go to college out of state and they'll go for a year and they're like, I missed home, or it's too expensive, or something along those lines, and then they want to access those pathway funds. Another interesting thing that a lot of people don't know about is we only have one university here in Wyoming, but the University of Wyoming does work with the National Student Exchange. So as a student, you can go internationally or to another participating college across the country. So Oregon State is a participant, maybe it's the University of Oregon, I can't remember. One of those colleges is a participant in that program. So you can go to college for up to a year at that school, experience another town, a bigger place, whatever reason you have to not want to go to a community college in Wyoming, and you can experience that, but still pay in-state tuition and use your Hathaway. So it's an option to be able to use that Hathaway without, and explore without having to pay out of state. Yeah?
On the Hathaway, what if your student's not sure which college in the state they want to go to? If you have to apply for separate colleges, can they apply for more than one and turn them down?
Yep, absolutely. So I always recommend students apply for 3 schools is a good idea. So, your local college, whichever direction you want to go, Sheridan or Northwest, and then out of state, or I'm not out of state, sorry, your dream school, and then an additional school. Circumstances change, people change over the course of the year. I applied to MSU, Rocky Mountain, Northwest, and Sheridan, and I ended up staying in Powell. So, and that was the right choice for me. But I did have those other schools available should that have been the direction I wanted to go. And it's better to change your mind at the end of the year and, go one way than to go, oh, I really wish I would have applied, because some schools, like BYU, their scholarship is, or their application to apply for school is only open from mid-October, I think the 17th of October, to December 1st. So if you miss that application deadline, you won't be able to go to that school the following year. So some schools do have application deadlines, so it's better to apply to the school and not leave that to chance. That said, little disclaimer, because you do have to pay to apply to some of the bigger schools, only apply to the amount of schools you actually can afford to apply to. Don't go broke applying to schools, with each one having these application fees. Then school aid, like I said, contact the financial aid office at that school, or look online to make sure of when the scholarship's open and the date they close, and what's required for those scholarships. Some of the scholarships do take time, so some of them are shorter, like the one you have, and some of them are longer. Also keep in mind, how much time that scholarship is going to cost you, and how much money you're going to get out of it should you be chosen for that. So you don't want to fill out a 50-page application and then they only are awarding $200. So, those are things to keep in mind as well. And then for individual scholarships, visit the scholarship website or the contact information listed. So to get your federal student aid, the first thing you need is your FSA ID. So the instructions are on this orange form. The FSA ID replaced the PIN. So if you went to college yourself or you have an older student who went to school up to 2 years ago, then you would have a 4-digit PIN. The FSA ID is a username and password. You'll want to either apply for the FSA ID prior to the FAFSA or at the time of the FAFSA. It will add about 10 minutes. The parent and the student both have to have an FSA ID because that's what serves as your electronic signature on the FAFSA. But it does take some more time. The one thing to know is that if you're coming to the FAFSA date, let's just say it's the 10th. I don't know for sure off the top of my head, but there is like a 3-day period before that, if you don't fill it out 3 days before or further back, then you will not get to fill out FAFSA because they're processing it through the Social Security Administration. So it takes 3 days to process that FSA ID. So you can do it at the time of the application or prior, 3 days prior and further back. So you could go tonight and do it, but you can't do it if it's on the 10th. You can't go on the 8th and fill it out and then fill out the FAFSA on the 10th. The FSA ID is a username and password. The password cannot contain your social security number, your date of birth, or any part of your name. And it has to have an uppercase, lowercase, a special symbol, or a number. So it takes a little bit of thought. They're also going to ask you numerous security questions. 2 of them you'll choose from a drop-down, and 2 of them you'll have to choose from your mind. I've given some suggestions on this form. I recommend you write it down. Everyone says, I'm going to remember it. And so the first couple of years I did this job, I was like, okay, that's fine. Literally, as soon as you finish it, you go into the application, and they're like, I can't remember it. We just had this talk like 3 minutes ago. I don't know, so then we have to go into the email, we have to do the password reset, and we have to wait for 30 minutes, and so it's a process. So write it down. You're going to need it as long as your student is in college and any other students. So parents, you will keep that FSA ID for all of time. If you go back to school, if your kids go to school, if your younger siblings go to school, you'll need this for every one of those students. One thing that I really hate that they ask as part of the security questions for students is for a significant date. You don't often have a significant date like an anniversary or the day your kids were born, hopefully. And so you can't use your birth date. You can use your birth date of the year you turned 1, but you can't use the day you were actually born. If you do that, because it's the last question, when you hit to submit those questions and you put your birth date in there, it will reset all of these questions and you have to start all the way over. So, don't do that. Your email address has to be different than your parents' email address. So you each have to have a separate email address, whether that means you create one or you guys just use different ones. The only thing I will say, I don't recommend using your school email address. A lot of times once students graduate, those email addresses disappear. Then when you go to reset your password, you actually have to call the FAFSA and get put on hold for 20 minutes and wait for them to verify who you are so that you can get into that and reset it because it's sent to an email that doesn't exist. You also get a lot of information your senior year through email. So it might just be a good idea to set up, Sally Joe's college email at hotmail.com. Some of those scholarships websites will send you a lot of reminders. So they'll say, hey, there's a scholarship coming up, and your inbox gets mindful. You also want email that you're going to check because schools will send you reminders. They'll let you know about scholarship awards. So you want to make it sure it's one that you are checking. And then just another side note, if you are setting up an email address or you already have one, it might be a good idea to go with a more generic one instead of Wyoming Cowgirl 52. Because if you're putting that one on a resume, it doesn't look quite as professional. So, you're going to gather the documents you need. So there are quite a few documents. I will send Mr. Dewar a list of what you need. I can also email you guys one that you can fill in if you just are sending your students. But you will need your tax information. You can link to the IRS, but you have to make sure that you write down the exact address that you entered. So if your address is 510 South River Street, but you abbreviate South with just an S, but you write street out, you have to write that exactly the way it is on your 2015 taxes or you won't be able to link. So I'm recommending that you bring them in if you come to the FAFSA nights, but you can write it down as well. You'll need the FSA ID and password for the parent and the student. You'll need the mother's social security number and date of birth, the father's social security number and date of birth, and the student's social security number and date of birth. You will also need the parent's date of marriage or their date of separation or divorce. The balance of the checking, savings, and cash on hand, and then any investments that you have. It sounds like a lot of information that they want from you, but remember, it's nothing they don't already have.